The atmosphere inside the guest room was frigid, and she could sense no trace of anyone waiting impatiently for her. All she could hear were the unsettling sounds of the wind and rain. At first, this seemed to prove that there was no one here to threaten her, but soon it only made an uneasy feeling rise up inside her even more strongly than before. The closet was just off to the side of anyone entering the room. Lined up inside it was a set of hangers for coats. This closet, which had nothing hanging in it, was large enough for even an adult to hide in. She softly opened the closet. Of course, there was nothing inside. She would have to hide quietly in here for an hour. The room had a wooden floor, but something like a carpet had been laid in the closet. It seemed sitting down wouldn't be a problem. She had been sure someone would be waiting for her in this room, and a strange letter would be lying in the closet. In the worst case, she had even imagined that her husband's corpse might be inside there. However, none of these things she'd imagined turned out to be true. The only thing there was a cold guest room, and a lifeless closet that silently urged her to enter.
この中に1時間隠れていろというのですね。馬鹿にした話です。
Yes. Natsuhi shrugged, turned around, then locked and chained the guest room door.
これでこの部屋には誰も入れないではありませんか。つまり1時間の間、私の勝ちです。バカバカしいかくれんぼですね。
That's what you think. This surely must be a total victory in the hide-and-seek game against that mystery man. However, it was such an easy victory, it made her feel uneasy. Yeah. If it's such an easy out, chances are it's not an easy out. Normally, this would be against the rules of hide-and-seek. Even if she had won, wouldn't this displease the culprit? And now everyone thought she had returned to her room. If they found a room with a chain set, that would make it an impossible closed room to them. Etika had dashed out the mansion to confirm alibis or something. If she had noticed that the chain was set on this room, there would probably be an uproar that would end in them cutting the chain and searching the room. If that happened, Natsuhi would be found hiding in the closet right away. True. It would be easy to honestly confess as to why she'd been hiding. However, that man had insisted that she not reveal that. If she did talk, she might endanger her husband. Thinking of it that way, setting the chain, no, even the lock might be a bad idea. That's right. This room was unlocked when I came here. If it were to suddenly become locked, it's conceivable that it might catch someone's attention. True. It's better if I don't do anything unnecessary. That man only told me to hide. I hate doing it, but I cannot disobey. I undid those two precious locks, went into the dimly lit closet filled with the smell of old wood, and managed to close the door from the inside. Pitch black. It reminded me of when I was young, when I used to hide somewhere and then surprise my mother. But that peaceful recollection wasn't enough to kill off my anxiety. It really is pitch black. From here, I won't even be able to check my watch to see if an hour has passed. I'll probably need to open the door a crack every once in a while to let enough light for my watch. For now, I'll crouch down here. Thought about clutching my knees, but it hurt my back when I tried. Not as young as I used to be. Even though I was made to sit on the floor, holding my knees in every PE class as a grade schooler, I now have to struggle just to sit down. Just crouching down here for an hour will probably hurt a lot. And in the meantime... I can't believe I'll be hiding in the darkness for a full hour with nothing to hear except the wind and the rain. Ironically, Natsuhi had made Jessica do the exact same thing in the past. She had done it when Jessica was a little girl to scold her for persistent bad habits and teach her a lesson. She thought that making Jessica stay put in the darkness would sprout a desire to reflect on her mistakes, and that this way she would understand what she had done wrong. It almost feels like I'm being made to do the same thing. If that's the true purpose of this hide-and-seek, this must be my naivety, the hope that if their goal is to make me repent, nothing will happen during this hour. Uncertainty and fear of that man's shadow are not what I needed right now. Will someone suddenly come to this room, open this closet, and do something horrible to me now that I've come here in total secrecy as promised? That's what I should be worrying about. The culprit, or one of his accomplices, is very close by. If they weren't, they wouldn't be able to observe me so thoroughly. I don't want to think it, but it's highly likely that the culprit bought off one of the servants. The culprit had hidden an eerie card with an autumn written on it in my room. That did happen. My personal room is always locked. That trick wouldn't have been possible without a key. Instead of believing that they obtained the key when the servants weren't looking, it's much more realistic to assume that one of the servants lent the culprit a hand.
しかし、どうして私の好きな季節が秋だと。
Very good question.
気持ちが悪い。
The thought that this mystery man might be peeking into my heart sent goosebumps running across my whole body. It's true that I like autumn, but I've never said it out loud. I don't think anyone's ever heard me say it. If I asked even my husband what my favorite season is, he would probably be stumped for an answer. Interesting. No. Just once I told it to a single person. That's right. Shannon. On an autumn day long ago, I happened to be in a good mood, and I mentioned that autumn was my favorite of the 4 seasons. So the culprit, or one of their accomplices, has to be Shannon. No. No. It's not Shannon. It's not Shannon. I refuse to believe that. It's not Shannon. But someone who works with Shannon. Alright, hear me out. Alright? See, that's the thing. Ever since the whole incident where Natsuhi ropes in all these servants, there's one servant that wasn't in on Natsuhi's whole scheme, right? Right? There's been one servant that hasn't been in on Natsuhi's scheme. There's one that ain't no. There's one who's unknowingly been playing along because he doesn't realize that he's part of a scheme. But I'm guessing somehow man's found out. I don't know how. Somehow man's found out though, right? Some way, some shape, some form. Man's found out. And I'm sure if he's, working amongst the other servants, I'm sure, he builds up a good rapport with the other servants. He hears the story about the one servant that jumped off the cliff with, the adopted baby. He works with Shannon long enough to hear that, oh, the madam is a big fan of autumn, huh? He's on the ground, he's hearing these things, huh? He was one of the people that was outside of the mansion. When we go back to the whole letter in the knock, I still have no idea how man's gonna pull it off, but hey, he was one of the people that was outside the mansion at the time, and clearly it would have had to been one of them, because it couldn't have been anyone inside, as was clearly stated. So I don't think Shannon's an accomplice, but I think she unknowingly assisted in this venture. Or maybe she is an accomplice. I don't know. I want to have more faith in my girl Shannon than that, but then again, there's been so many times where it's I want to have faith in this person, and then they do some dumb shit. They're involved in some stupid shit. So I don't know. But that's the thing. Ever since that moment, ever since Kinzo actually died and Natsuhi roped them all in, but the one servant she didn't rope into the scheme, that's been sitting on my mind heavy. That's been sitting on my mind heavy. Cause then cause all the other family members oh yeah, you can point fingers there. There's plenty of suspicion surrounding them, but no one's gonna suspect that guy, right? No one's gonna suspect that guy, right? I don't know. I know I said when I started episode 5 I was mad suspicious of Kyrie. And I do think Kyrie did something, but I don't think it has anything involved with the current 2 days, alright? Maybe it does. I don't know. I think Kyrie's definitely got, some skeletons in her closet for sure. But I think that's there to throw you off. Make you think, oh yeah, Kyrie, she's been up to some shady shit, so yeah, it's definitely possible. Oh sure, it's possible, but I don't think this is her handiwork. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna be real with you right now. Anyway, let's keep going.
私が秋を好きだというのはシャノンしか知り得ないことなら、これはシャノンが関わっているという明白な証拠ではありません。
Unknowingly. I think it's unknowingly. Okay. There's nothing to say that she isn't, for sure. I don't want to believe it. But I mean, sure, we can run with the theory that Shannon and Goda are in cahoots. Sure. We'll run with that theory, why not? I don't believe it, for a damn second. But sure, run with that theory.
それをあの秋というカードが証明しています。なんということ。10年にもわたり当家の世話になりながら。
I trembled and shook with rage. Didn't Kinzo once say that anger is the fastest sedative to cure fear and uncertainty? It's easy to tell the most fearful humans within a crowd. They're always the first to get angry. I remember him telling me that. Uh-huh. And you realize how, like, quick to anger you've been this whole time, ma'am? Yeah, it is pretty damn easy to tell who the most fearful are. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So I realized that this anger was a sign that I was actually frightened, very much so. And I tried my best to remain calm. However, this was a vital clue for turning things around. Shana may not be reliable as a servant, but if she's an accomplice used by that mystery man, this might actually be convenient. A weak-willed girl. If I threaten her, she'll probably spill the name of the mastermind in an instant. That's the thing. You're going off the basis that she's knowingly a part of it. Which, alright, keep running with it, but I don't believe it. I'll secretly tell the police about this. It might become a big clue towards arresting the culprit.
あのカードで私を驚かし、うまく手綱を取れたつもりだ。むしろ墓穴を掘ったようですね。
Oh. Oh, Natsuhi breaking out the red text. Interesting. Okay. True. She never told anyone except Shannon. She never told anyone except Shannon. Who might Shannon have told? This is unshakable proof that she's working with the culprit. Unshakable proof that she told the culprit. I wouldn't quite put her at accomplice level. Though I once thought this time in the closet would crush me with uncertainty and uneasiness, it's actually given me the start of a counterattack. If I wasn't given this time in the darkness, I probably wouldn't have noticed this. I'm almost grateful to the culprit for making up this foolish game. My mood brightened. I still can't guarantee that my husband is safe, but I'll definitely get him back and force the culprit to face judgment. Such a good game. I clenched my fists tightly and further strengthened my resolve to avoid losing this fight at any cost. At that time, I heard the sound of someone... I heard the sudden sound of someone trying to force the locked door open. My heart leapt. The voice was Hideyoshi's. I heard that quiet voice as though he was talking to himself, coming from what was probably the hallway. Apparently he had thought it was locked and tried to unlock it, but had ended up locking the unlocked door instead. Once again, there was the sound of the lock turning, and now the door opened with a faint sound. Why? Is Hideyoshi-san in this room? Footsteps that sounded like his came in, and there was the sound of him closing and locking the door behind him. Then came what seemed to be the sound of him setting the chain. Don't tell me. Hideyoshi-san is the mastermind, or else an accomplice? Is he planning to do something to me in this room? It would take some time to unlock the door from this side, much less remove the chain. If Hideyoshi-san doesn't intend to let me escape from here, he won't give me enough time to undo the chain. In that case, if he opens the closet door, sees me crouching here pathetically, just what kind of fearsome words will he say? I don't want to be found. I don't want to be found. I beg you, pass right on by the closet door. Please keep going into the center of the room. My head was so filled with a throbbing sound that it felt like it was about to explode, and I almost missed hearing his noisy footsteps. So when I heard a clunking sound coming from the center of the room, I finally realized that he passed by the closet and was deeply relieved. For now.
念のためや。どうせこの天気じゃ夜と変わらんわ。
As he whispered, he did something that made a clunking sound. He's probably closing the shutters on the windows. Just in case. In case I try to escape out the window? No, that can't be it. That's right. When I left the parlor, everyone was talking about possibly taking a break. After all, several murders have occurred, and the weather's bad. There'd be nothing abnormal if someone chose to rest in a guest room here instead of returning to the guest house. In that case, locking up and closing the shutters to guarantee safety is the proper course of action to take. When he finished closing the shutters, there was a thunk, as though he'd flopped over on the bed. It was surprising how much of the situation could be grasped just by the sound. What's going on here? The man from 19 years ago planned all this out to put me in the same room as Hideyoshi-san? No, that probably isn't true. He probably planned on me hiding here, but Hideyoshi-san coming to take a rest here must have been outside the scope of his plan. Thinking about it that way, having him in the room might be odd. It also might guarantee my own safety. Unlike his wife, Hideyoshi-san is the kind of person I can talk to. If Eva-san comes, things will probably get complicated. Maybe I should slip out of this closet now while he's still alone. No. Reveal everything to just him and ask for help. But if I do that, my husband might be killed. Until my husband is released, I shouldn't do anything rash. Yeah. Should I go out and talk or hide in here? Moaning from my headache and biting my lower lip, I resisted the urge to crawl out of here. Even if I talk with Hideyoshi-san, I don't know where my husband is being held. I'm sure the traitor who's observing me is nearby. Just talking to him won't solve everything. I suspect that Shannon is the traitor, but that's no proof that Goda and the others aren't. Yeah, it's all useless. I guess leaving here and confessing is too dangerous after all. Eventually, I heard a strange sobbing voice. Whose voice was it? I strained my ears trying to hear that strange voice. I was shocked to discover that it was Hideyoshi weeping. Well, yeah, his son's dead. He's probably been keeping that shit bottled up all day. Hideyoshi, who had lost his only son, was finally able to shed tears and cry, now that he was all alone like this. Thinking that he needed to support Eva in her distress, he acted as though he alone was standing firm. However, he has as good a right to cry as anyone. Now that he's found a place where no one can see his tears, he finally let himself do it. And I've lost my daughter. I haven't seen her corpse with my own eyes, so it still doesn't feel like she's really dead. But if the one who carried her off was the culprit, and he had some repulsive motive for doing it, just thinking about it makes me feel as though my chest will tear itself apart. The reason I'm hiding in here now is I'm thinking more about my still living husband than my dead daughter. But if I were given the chance, I'd be wailing at the top of my lungs too. However, I still cannot let myself do that. It isn't because the man from 19 years ago told me to hide. It's because I'm the final head of the Ushiramiya family. It's been completely overshadowed by the recent uproar. But last night, Battler-kun found the hidden gold and even gained the head's ring from that mysterious envelope. At the very, very end, when it's all over, I probably won't be able to prevent his ascension as the head. When everything regarding the distribution of the inheritance is revealed, the Ushiramiya family honor and glory passed down from father will plummet to the earth. So, I am the final head. Battler-kun will probably inherit the remaining wealth of the Ushiramiya family. However, its history and honor will all end with my generation. Therefore, I am the final head. I must not cry. Not yet. Until I get my husband back and avenge my daughter, I will not be allowed to shed tears. In the closet, I silently hung my head as I listened to Hideyoshi-san's sobs. Huh? My heart leapt. I heard a sound that must have been Hideyoshi-san. He'd probably been lying prostrate on the bed, bounding to his feet. Did he notice me? He was clearly in a struggle with someone. Who on earth could it be? No, it doesn't matter who it is. It's probably the culprit, and they're probably trying to take Hideyoshi-san's life. Shouldn't I jump out of here and help him? If I can't help him, should I call for help? No, but if I do something like that, I'll be questioned about why I was hiding here. However, if Hideyoshi-san gets killed like this... No, now isn't the time to be saying that. At this rate, he'll certainly be killed. I'll jump out of here and help him right now. Oh, but if I do that, even if I can save Hideyoshi-san, I might be abandoning my husband's life. Hideyoshi-san's life, my husband's life. How sinful it would be to try and weigh those against each other. At that time, there was a loud sound as the door opened and the chain was pulled tight. Someone was trying to open the door despite the chain being set.
Eva!
Oh shit. Okay. Okay. I can only imagine Ava's gonna start searching the room and start with the closet.
これ開けて開けてあなた
She opened and closed the door over and over again with all her might, but of course she couldn't snap the chain. Ava-san called for help in a loud voice and raced through the hallway. By this time the room had settled back into silence, and that earlier sense of Hideyoshi being in a noisy struggle had disappeared completely. What's going on here? So right now, I'm in the same room as the murderer who killed Hideyoshi-san. In that case, the culprit should try to escape from the room as soon as possible. So why are they hiding in here? I haven't heard anything. Other than that might have been the culprit who attacked Hideyoshi-san rushing away. Yeah, maybe now you get out of here, though. Like, Ava went running down the hallway. Maybe now you get the fuck out. And, like, try to get around this. Head back to your room, maybe. Try to be like, oh, wow, what happened here, guys? Because then they're still going to pin the blame on you no matter what. But if they find you sitting in the closet, well, like, there's no helping you there. No matter how much I strain my ears, I can't sense anyone in the room. In fact, it's so silent that it makes what happened just a second ago feel like an illusion. In other words, does this mean that the culprit is hiding his breath? Standing just outside this closet, waiting for me to stumble out? I don't even know what I should be scared of anymore. If only I could just melt away into the darkness of this closet. I mustn't remain in this room any longer. Nope. I get the feeling I have more to worry about than just my personal safety. Yep. What should I do? Leave? I don't even know if it's a good idea to leave this closet. Leave! Eventually the clamor of many rushing footsteps approach. You're fucked. You're fucked. You're fucked. Of course they're gonna check the closet. You're fucked. You sat too long sitting there. You should okay, fucking, I'm out of here. Well, no, she couldn't. She couldn't. Fuck, no, I'm wrong. She couldn't. Because the chain set. If Ava came back and the chain wasn't set and Natsuhi was the only one who wasn't in their group who came running back towards the room, then obviously that'd make her look mad suspicious. But no. But no. I don't know. I still think that would be better than her being caught in the room. I still think that would be better than her being caught in the room. It's one thing for her to like not be with the group when they come back and oh, the chain's not set now. Because obviously you can then say like once Ava ran away, then the murderer unset the chain and left. Whoever it may be. But if, people barge into the room, see a dead Hideyoshi and Natsuhi in the closet, then there's really only one assumption to make. Like, obviously, there's no point. Like, her decision's been made. She's staying in the closet, but I think it would have been better on her to have left, like, immediately after Ava ran away. She'd be like, okay, Ava's gone, just run to go get help. Now's the time I get the fuck out of here. Get back to my room, look like I was there the whole time. Or, like, come running back and be like, guys, I heard screaming. What's going on? Eventually the clamor of many rushing footsteps approached. I'll hold my breath again and melt away into the darkness of the closet.